Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. We want to know, because we covered a lot of territory last week in the show, what do you wish you'd said but you didn't get a chance to say? Doug Raymond, we'll start with you.
I'd like to get the ear of the big-time consultants from Washington that have been bringing in all this outside money and say, stop looking at rating points and start looking at different avenues. This show being one of them. There's cable shows like Henry Hinton's in Greenville. Those where the voters are. And throwing your ad amidst the broadcast news with 5 other ads and a commercial break isn't an effective way to get your message out.
Yeah, I could let you go on like this for just hours.
That's the first time you haven't cut me off in ages.
It really is, isn't it? Chris, what do you wish you'd have said you didn't say?
Well, we did talk briefly about the U.S. Senate race, the headline race, and I actually thought before this election season that Kay Hagan was going to be very vulnerable. She still may lose. I think she'll pull it out. But I think Republicans around the country had this in the win column, thought they had work to do. But it turned out the battle really is over. It's like we have 2 incumbents running. We have Senator Hagan and we have House Speaker Tom Tillis, who has a record, whatever you think of it. And it's motivated Democratic voters in a way that I think the Republicans underestimated.
John, what do you think, what you wish you'd said you didn't get a chance to say?
Well, I may be all wet, which happens every now and then, rains come even in the desert. But I think that Chris is certainly right that Hagan has done well this cycle. I think, however, part of what's going on is a tremendous amount of money has been pulled into the North Carolina race from the national coffers in the most expensive markets in the competitive races that didn't go to Colorado, that didn't go to Arkansas, that didn't go to Alaska, didn't go to some of the other races where if the Republicans are to take the Senate, which seems likely, that money might have come in handy. So on the one hand, it's good for Kay Hagan, bad for Tom Tillis if that was to be the outcome. But on the other hand, I'm not sure it was a good investment of Democratic money nationally to spend so much money defending one and possibly losing quite a few other seats.
That'll be interesting to watch.
And look at Georgia, for example, which is not a place where the Republican was an incumbent in the legislature, but also a very competitive race. I think North Carolina and Georgia tell us something about African-American turnout in 2014, perhaps more than just about North Carolina itself.
Brad, what do you wish you'd have said?
Well, I think Democrats are going to have a good year in the election cycle. I think they pick up seats in both chambers. Question how much, I said that they pick up 4 seats in the Senate, and they've got to run the gamut to be able to do that. They've got to protect McLaurin and then have a really good night. The other thing I think is really interesting about this election for Democrats is looking to 2016 and then also missed opportunities. John and I were talking off camera about, you got the Martin seat in Wilson County, that's a state house. That's a Democratic performing district. You've got right next to it Brian Brown in a very competitive district, and that was Marion McLawhorn's seat. That better recruitment of candidates. Tamara Barringer in Wake County, for example, would have been very vulnerable if you'd found a credible candidate for the Democrats to run. So as the Democrats move forward to 2016, they've really got to look at a couple things: message and messenger. And then the key component to the message, if Democrats want to govern in the state of North Carolina, they've got to figure out a message that centrist, unaffiliated, independent-leaning voters will support. If they don't, they're going to be in the minority for a long period of time.
Well, thanks for watching the After Spin. More video all during the week on ncspin.com.